Hello, I welcome you to this episode of Divine Foods Living. I am your host Megumi. We are here in this beautiful valley, Vilcabamba in Ecuador. My intention is to inspire and empower you to be the best version of yourself and live your truly highest potential. And I'm truly honored to be here today with Laura Fox, who has been an important inspiration in my life and definitely in many other people's lives, offering her much sought after guidance in these times of change. Laura, thank you so much for sharing with us today your vision.
Thank you, Megumi. Thank you. It makes me know I'm doing my work if you're saying these things.
Yes. Would you like to introduce your work and telling us, what is your most important mission?
Okay. Thank you, Megumi. Yes. Well, I think the core of my work has to do with cultivating leaders of the new paradigm. In other words, holding space for people to, like you, to recognize yourself as a leader. Right now, we're at a time on the planet where obviously there's many changes and many really important scenarios going on, ecologically, economically, in our inner world, in our relationships, our relationship with the planet, organizationally, politically. It's a critical time for us all to discover that true purpose and that true identity within ourselves so that we can each show up with our greatest skills and our greatest gifts at this time. Now, leaders of the new paradigm lead in a different way. So if you aren't recognizing yourself as a leader yet, it's simply because of one of two things. It may be that you're a little bit shy and you're not yet ready to step fully into your true power, but the truth is it's time and you can. And the other thing is that people sometimes are shy about calling themselves a leader because they don't want to be a leader like leaders in the past that have been controlling to others. And the truth is, a new paradigm leader leads in a different way. So you have permission to dig within and discover that new way of leadership that's truly yours. And I want to encourage that.
And what do you feel can help us most in doing this so important step? Help us in the choices we make, help us in connecting with ourselves and discovering this potential we all have in us.
Yes, indeed. At this time, we're moving into an era of collaboration, which is also the era of ethics. And in terms of the Mayan calendar, we've been in this era since, I believe, 2009. Which is the era of ethics and power. And so what this time harkens is for us to come together, and many of us are feeling this on the core of our being, that it's time to build community, that it's time to plant our gardens, that it's time to co-resource and inspire one another, and to be willing to step up into what I call a higher priority structure. We seem to have the priority structure of the world, like from maybe our parents or our grandparents, from our society, from our friends, from the media, of what's a normal life, what we're supposed to do, the kind of money we're supposed to make, all these kinds of pressures on us to be something the world agrees with. Now, simultaneously to all of that, and not necessarily in conjunction with that, is our unique inner calling that has to do with the very special thing we came here to do as souls, as spiritual beings, as helpers in service at this time on the planet. And also fulfilling our greatest joy, which might not be the same as the world's priority structure. So one of my greatest joys is to help us all realize that we have permission to hop up into this higher priority structure. And it might feel like jumping off a cliff a little bit, but there's a net. There's a net, Megumi, as I think you know too. It's like, so permission granted once again, if anybody needs that sort of thing, to kind of just really go for it. Really go for what's yours to give, what's yours to show up with, what's your true inner spirit's calling. And most of us will feel some kind of a discomfort at this time if we're not fully living our Dharma and our dream and who we are. And that discomfort will show up in various ways, perhaps in relationship difficulties, perhaps in health challenges, perhaps in just a sense of irritation that something's not quite right. But once we start deciding that we're going to look for and choose those steps and those actions and those ways of being that are in alignment with our soul's purpose, then things start to lighten up. The synchro mystery kicks in. Our guidance center, comes full on with steps along the way like little pebbles in the moonlight for us to follow. And the other benefit is we get to have way more fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. Fun, like the fun we will be experiencing with Anchoring the Dream.
That's
Would
right.
you like to introduce us to this experience?
Sure, yes. Several years back, I did a little bit of due diligence meditation on what I could bring forth and offer to people that would actually help. And I wanted to do something that will, not just my personality thinks will help, but it's actually going to be effective in creating the kind of change that we need on the planet right now. And as a longtime student of reality creation principles, such as found in New Thought or in, Ernest Holmes' work, or Catherine Ponder, or The Secret, or, Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra talk about reality creation as well. I went into this meditation passionate about this. If we can bring forth an illicit experience through our thoughts, words, and actions, then we should, I feel.
Definitely.
And then if we can do that, we should do it together, because this is the time of coming together. This is the time of community. And not only should we do it together and absolutely do it, we also ought to consider the context in which we find ourselves right now, which is a world filled with ecological turmoil, political turmoil, warfare, and various dysfunctions that really need to be addressed for the well-being of the whole. Even our education system needs revision. So with these things in mind, the Anchor the Dream experience came through, and what I'm calling it is an experience of collaborative visioning. And my book that's coming out is called Collaborative Visioning. It's basically the engine to anchor the dream. So we use collaborative visioning together through the resonant field. And if we don't know what that means, it basically is like, you might have heard a unified field, or the all that is. Some people might call this source or God. Whatever you're feeling of that place of oneness that knows everything there is to be known. If we can tap in as a group to this larger wholeness that we all are together, and allow each of our perspective to come out, we can create a vision that's truly sanctionable. In other words, we are a bridge between earth and sky and one another to bring forth visions that will really work on the planet at this time to create solutions. And one of the tricks in this is that our egos and our personalities get to play and fulfill their role without dominating. We can learn how to take turns, we can learn how to share, we can learn how to really build community and create what we want to do to make the changes that we need to make in a way that will be more lasting. And so in the Anchor the Dream experience, we do this through, we then take those visions that we co-create